All right, let's talk about a pretty radical idea. What if you could fire your software? And I don't just mean canceling a subscription. I mean actually stop paying for it if it doesn't deliver the results you were promised. That's the big idea behind a model for buying AI called Results as a Service, or RaaS. It was pitched as a total revolution, but, well, the reality turned out to be a whole lot more complicated. So let's break it down.
And this right here, this is the incredibly seductive promise of it all. I mean, can you imagine walking into your CFO's office and saying, hey, we're going to stop paying those fixed software licenses. From now on, we only pay for actual, measurable business outcomes. It honestly sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it?
So let's make this feel real for a second. Picture yourself as a sales manager. Instead of paying, a flat fee for your CRM software every month, you only pay a tiny percentage of every single deal your team closes using that software. That's the whole magic of RaaS. You're not buying the software, you're buying the results. And hey, if there are no results, no invoice. Simple as that.
So that was the dream, right? But like a lot of dreams, it didn't quite survive its first contact with reality. After about a year of hype, that pure, simple version of RaaS is pretty much nowhere to be found. So what on earth happened? Let's take a look.
In fact, it's not just a quiet failure. The pendulum has swung so far in the other direction that some of the loudest voices in the industry, like Forbes here, are now calling the whole pure version of this model a myth, and an expensive one at that. So yeah, what went wrong?
Okay, so what we're really seeing out there is this constant tug of war between the people buying the software and the people selling it. Buyers, of course, they want all the reward with zero risk. That's the pure RaaS myth on the table. But the vendors, well, they just can't afford to take on all of that risk themselves, so they're pushing back. And where do we land? We land on this compromise, this hybrid model right in the middle, where both sides agree to share the risk and the reward. It's not as flashy for sure, but it's the only one that seems to actually work in the real world.
So, and this is the crucial part. While the marketing headline might be screaming, pay for outcomes, the contract you actually sign is almost always a hybrid. You got to think of it like a layer cake that's designed to balance out the risk. You've got a base fee just to keep the lights on for the vendor, and then on top of that, you have the outcome component that really aligns everyone's incentives. It's a smart compromise that keeps everyone in the game.
So why? Why is that pure pay-for-only results model so incredibly rare? I mean, it's not for a lack of vision or trying. It's because in the real world, it keeps crashing into the same three massive hurdles that are just nearly impossible to clear.
And here they are. You can think of these as the three horsemen of the RaaS apocalypse: attribution, legal, and cash flow. Any one of these on its own is a huge challenge, but when you put them all together, they pretty much explain why that RaaS dream just crumbled. So let's dig into each one, starting with the one that causes the most arguments by far.
The attribution problem. This thing is an absolute killer. Just imagine you're a salesperson. You've been working a huge deal for months, right? You've built a great relationship, you've done the demos, you've negotiated the price. Then, right at the end, you use an AI tool to generate the final proposal. Boom, the deal closes. So, who gets the credit? You, the AI tool, the marketing team that found the lead in the first place? It is a recipe for endless arguments and, honestly, broken partnerships.
Okay, now here's a wild one that I don't think anyone really saw coming: the hidden legal risk. It turns out that when a vendor starts guaranteeing a business outcome that depends on a bunch of factors they can't actually control, they can accidentally start acting like an insurance company. And that triggers a whole universe of regulations and compliance issues that they are just not prepared to deal with.
And this is the vendor's nightmare scenario. The best analogy I've heard is it's like building a bridge and only getting paid if people decide to drive across it. You've got all these massive costs up front: the implementation, the integration, cleaning up the data, and then you just have to sit there and hope the traffic shows up. It's a massive gamble that most vendors simply can't afford to take. And that's a big reason why so many of them are backing away from pure RaaS.
Okay, so if pure RaaS is basically a myth, how are the smartest teams making that hybrid model a reality that actually works? Well, it all starts with picking the right battles and getting incredibly specific. You see, this model really thrives in areas where the outcomes are super clear and easy to measure. Take customer support. A resolved ticket is a clear, binary thing. It's either done or it's not. But the model completely falls apart where outcomes get fuzzy, like brand awareness or general revenue growth, because trying to figure out attribution is just way too messy.
So for any teams out there looking to actually try this, the absolute key is to resist the temptation to go big right away. You have to start small with a manageable pilot. The successful teams all use a really disciplined 90-day process. In the first month, they obsessively define the outcome. In the second month, they launch a small, highly monitored test. And then they use that third month to analyze all the data and fine-tune the model, before they even think about scaling up. It's a classic crawl, walk, run approach that minimizes risk and really maximizes your chances of success.
All right, so let's bring this all home. What's the big takeaway for the future of AI pricing? Because despite all these hurdles, this core idea is definitely not going away.
Look, the skeptics, they have a point. A badly designed RaaS model absolutely can just shift all the value to the vendor and create a mountain of paperwork. But here's the thing. Those criticisms really only apply to that fantasy, pure version of RaaS. They don't apply to the pragmatic, hybrid model that's actually working out there in the real world.
So really, the crucial point is that both sides of the table need to come at this with a new level of maturity. If you're a buyer, stop chasing the pure RaaS fairy tale. Look for hybrid models with clear definitions and transparent audit trails. And if you're a vendor, stop trying to be an insurance company. Charge a base fee to keep your business running, and only price outcomes where attribution is absolutely crystal clear.
You know, the ultimate takeaway here isn't that RaaS is some silver bullet. It's not going to just replace SaaS or other pricing models. Instead, it's becoming another powerful tool in the toolbox. The future is really a sophisticated stack of pricing options, where businesses can pick and choose the right model for the right job. So, RaaS isn't dead, not by a long shot. It's just growing up. The conversation is no longer about some simple, revolutionary promise. It's about a smarter, more strategic, more mature way of building a partnership. Which really leaves us with one final question for you. Is your business ready for that more mature conversation about value?